So my topic is Principles of Revision THR. So my plan today is just not to cover the theory, which we have heard many times, but give you some practical points on revision THR. So all these steps are very, very important. First thing is you need a clear idea as to why the hip has failed. Just because you see something that you think has failed or you find some osteolysis somewhere doesn't mean that. So you need to have a clear idea why it's failed. Spend some time on it. Now, even if you think there is an obvious cause, maybe some polywear, etc., think of infection as an additional cause. We, all of us have been, had failures because of this that we didn't recognize. We thought it was a poly issue and we ended up with infection finally. Yeah. The next thing that you do is you have to assess bone loss. It's usually you need to have well done X-rays. Sometimes you need to have, these oblique X-rays as well. Nowadays, we use a CT scan if necessary for assessing bone loss. A 3D printed model we use occasionally to quantify and do some, practice surgery if you need be for the reconstruction. Now, the most important thing is you must have a clear plan for reconstruction. Not just go in and see what happens and put this implant or that implant. You really need to have a plan. Approach, again, very important. And revision surgery, unlike the primary, you need to have extension options. So in case it doesn't work out, how are you going to do about extension? It's very, very important. Incorporating the previous scars, etc. Implant removal without bone loss is absolutely important. So these days, we believe that, we have tools to remove all implants in the hip without further bone loss. And one must not take on this without the appropriate instruments, like an explant, for example, because it costs so much additional bone loss. And I think that's not really, I think that is medically negligent if you don't have the proper tools today for removal of implants. Then once you remove the implant, you reassess the bone loss. So it may not be as you thought earlier. You may need something extra. Then reconstruct whatever is your plan. Now you need a backup options. Like every stage, you may have planned a jumbo cup, but you may found the jumbo cup may be inadequate. So you need all backup options at every stage. So it's a very popular adage to say not having a clear plan is planning to fail as far as revision THR goes. So a quick look at how things pan out on the Acetabular side. So Kaprowski classification is the one that's used universally. There is no migration is 1. The migration less than 3 centimeters, it becomes the type 2. 3 types of remodeling are described by Kaprowski: circumferential, oblong, and protrusive type. If the migration is more than 3 centimeters, that means the columns are also deficient. And we have 3A and 3B. 3A is up and out and 3B is up and in. Type 4 Kaprowski is pelvic disc. So this is really the essence of the classification. And this should do in most situations. So if we have a type 2, usually these days we reconstruct with the jumbo cup. And if you have a type 3, usually we need something extra, just a jumbo cup will not. So jumbo cup would be okay in about 85% of patients in our practice. The rest would need something else, usually type 3 or type 4 would need something else. So jumbo cup technique, a lot of people have misunderstandings about that. So basically, we're looking at 2 biomechanical concepts. You need to get an AP capture, some part of the posterior bone, some part of the anterior bone. But remember that any inanimate object needs a minimum 3 point. You can have multiple points, but a minimum 3 point. So we need to have a 3-point fixation. So how do we get 3-point fixation? We start enlarging the socket. Usually by this time you're running into columns. So now you're relying on columns for support, and that's why 2 columns must be intact for you to get. And once you enlarge and you get a 3-point fixation, you can get a jumbo cup win. So 85% of revisions are jumbo cup revisions. So that's how we do the jumbo cup revision. So this is the animation. Typically you'll find that the superior inferior diameter is much larger than the AP diameter. So you start enlarging the AP diameter to match the superior inferior diameter. At one point it matches, you get a 3-point fixation, and you put screws. And these days we like to put screws in the inferior hemisphere as well. Now here's an example. There are some cups now which have dedicated holes for inferior fixation. It's a great idea these days to put, and this is an example of that. Now remember that unlike primary, high hip centers are not well tolerated. So how much high can you go in revision hip? Usually the inferior edge of the cup must not be above the teardrop. The inferior edge of the cup is above the teardrop, like in this case, you'll have high loosening rate. So unlike primary, be careful about high hip centers in revision surgery. So how do you solve this problem? So we have these augments these days. So when you run out of bone to match the superior inferior diameter like that, you find that you're enlarging to get a 3-point fixation. But by the time by enlarging the AP diameter, you're running out of columns. Then it's time to stop. You cannot go on enlarging it. And for 3 point, then you bust the columns. So what we do is we stop short, and then the place to get to 3-point fixation, we use the augment. So that's how we use the augment these days. And of course, inferior screws are a great idea. So two types of augments basically we can use, modes of usage. We can use intracavitatory, that is the classical mode that we can use, or we can use it outside the defect, like buttress augment. And this is an example of how we use the buttress. These are common modes that we now use. Moving on to the FEMA, again 1, 2, and 3 is divided into A and B based on whether it's greater than 4 centimeters or less than 4 centimeters are available, and type 4 is something. So again, these 4 centimeters came from Peprowski was a great fan of the solution stem, and therefore he came up with this 4. Now that we almost don't use cobalt chrome stems, we have moved on titanium stems. So this is all outdated data. So we now rely on much less bone. 3 centimeters or less is adequate for getting fixation now. Peprowski's classification from 2003, and these are outdated recommendations. These days, the recommendations are a little different. Yeah. So just to take cement out of the way, today 2022, there are 2 rolls of cement and revision THR. One is for a cement on the femoral side, and on the acetabular side, to use cement when you use a large cup and you want to cement the liner, either dual mobility or a poly liner, we use cement, and that's the role of this. So here is a case where they use the cement and cement revision for it. Now type 1, it's best to use a SROM type device because that's the least invasive of the implants available. And type 4, you probably need interlocking screws. But majority of revisions are the type 2 and 3, where we need to use one of these stems, either modular or monoblock. So type 1, ideally it's a SROM stem that we have used here. SROM, type 1 is ideal to use SROM. And type 2 and 3, there's a secondary algorithm whether you can use a monoblock stem or a modular stem. So advantage of both monoblock and the modular are there. So when you find this bone loss is not great, you can use a monoblock stem, and therefore you can prevent breakage. Here are examples in which you have used monoblock stem. And however, when you find that you're using an endofemoral revision for a very long defect, then it's probably a good idea to get a modular stem in. And here's an example of that. And when you move on to Peprowski 4, once you go to the distal diaphysis, you probably need some kind of impaction grafting or interlocking screws. So that is sort of the algorithm that you have on the femoral side. So a good understanding of all these implants, how they work, is very important so that you can maximize the advantage with the given situation. So you need to understand all these implants very well. So thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Suri.